Hi everyone, it's B with To Be Fruitful Training Group. All praises to the Most High. And today, everything that we're going to be covering is covered under fair use. This is for the purposes of teaching and commenting in a classroom setting. Again, this is for training and educational purposes only. Nothing in this video is to be construed as legal advice, tax advice. If you need any competent counsel, please seek the applicable professionals. Thank you. And out of Ecclesiastes 3:18, King James Version, I said in mine heart concerning the estate of the sons of men, that the Most High might manifest them, and that they might see that they themselves are beasts. For that which befalleth the sons of men befalleth beasts, even one thing befalleth them. As the one dieth, so dieth the other. Yea, they have all one breath, so that a man hath no preeminence above a beast, for all its vanity. All go unto one place, all are of the dust, and all turn to dust again. Who knoweth the spirit of man that goeth upward, and the spirit of the beast that goeth downward to the earth? Wherefore I perceive that there is nothing better than that a man should rejoice in his own works, for that is his portion. For who shall bring him to see what shall be after him? All praises to the Most High. It's also very important to have the context in which human is defined. Out of Ballantyne's Law Dictionary, 1948 edition, we have human being, sea monster, S-E-E monster. Who else has a C? Catholic Church. And further, monster, Ballantyne's. A human being by birth, but in some part resembling a lower animal. A monster hath no inheritable blood, and cannot be heir to any land, albeit be brought forth in marriage. But although it hath deformity in any part of its body, yet if it hath human shape, it may be heir. It's important, very important to note the scriptures and how the law views humans. Remember, human is hue and man. Man is what the Most High created. Human is a hue of man, the color or likeness, the similitude of man, the likeness of man, but not man. So it's considered what? A monster or an animal with no inheritable blood. And what is a body without a soul? It's a dead body, right? But dust to dust. So a dead body is considered part of the land because it returns from whence it was taken. Chiefly the Cestui Que Vie Act of 1666, also known as the Proof of Life Act. And it states, recital that Cestui Que Vies have gone beyond sea, and that reversioners cannot find out whether they are alive or dead. Whereas diverse lords of manors and others have granted estates by lease for one or more life or lives, or else for years determinable upon one or more life or lives, and it hath often happened that such person or persons for whose life or lives such estates have been granted have gone beyond the seas, or so absented themselves for many years, that the lessors and reversioners cannot find out whether such person or persons be alive or dead, by reason whereof such lessors or reversioners have been held out of possession of their tenements for many years after all the lives upon which such estates depend are dead. In regard that the lessors and reversioners, when they have brought actions for the recovery of their tenements, have been put upon it to prove the death of their tenants, when it is also impossible for them to discover the same, for remedy of which mischief so frequently happening to such lessors or reversioners. Cestui Que Vie remaining beyond the sea for 7 years together, and no proof of their lives, judge in action to direct a verdict as though Cestui Que Vie were dead. If such person or persons, for whose life or lives Such estates have been, or shall have been, shall be granted, as aforesaid, shall remain beyond the seas or elsewhere, absent themselves in this realm, by the space of 7 years together, and no sufficient and evident proof be made of the lives of such person or persons, respectively, in any action commenced for the recovery of such tenements by the lessors or reversioners, in every such case, the person or persons upon whose life or lives such estate depended shall be accounted as naturally dead, and in every action brought for the recovery of said tenements by the lessors or reversioners, their heirs or assigns, the judges before whom such action shall be brought shall direct the jury to give their verdict as if the person so remaining beyond the seas or otherwise absenting himself were dead. Now, every act, if it truly be unconscionable, has to have a remedy to bring about an implied assent to the law, and a remedy if there is dissent, usually in the form of express dissent. If the supposed dead man proved to be alive, then title is revested. Action for mean profits with interest. Now, times 2, provided always that if any person or times 3 persons or persons shall be evicted out of any lands or tenements by virtue of this act, and afterwards, if such person or persons upon whose life or lives such estate or estates depend shall return again from beyond the seas, or shall on proof in any action be brought for recovery of the same, times 3, to appear to be living, or to have been living at the time of the eviction, that then and from thenceforth the tenant or lessee who was outed out of the same, his or their executors, administrators, or assigns. This term in English law, it's important to note that this term is equivalent to assignees in United States of America. Shall or may re-enter, repossess, have, hold, and enjoy the said lands or tenements in his or their former estate, the original estate, for and during the life or lives so long term as the said person or persons upon whose life or lives the said estate or estates depend shall be living, and also shall upon action or actions to be brought by him or them against the lessors, reversioners, or tenants in possession, or other persons respectively, which since the time of the said eviction receive the profits of the said lands or tenements, recover for damages the full profits of the lands or tenements respectively with lawful interest for and from the time that he or they were outed of the said lands or tenements, and kept or held out of the same by the said lessors, reversioners, tenants, or other persons, who held out the same by the said lessors, reversioners, tenants, or other persons who have after the said eviction received the profits of the said lands or tenements, or any of them respectively, as well in the case when the said person or persons upon whose life or lives such estate or estates did depend are or shall be dead at the time of bringing the said action or actions, as if the said person or persons were then living. Now it's important to note the way this is worded. A person can never truly live, because a person is a legal fiction, whether devised under common law or incorporated under legal system. A person is a person. A person is usually defined as a corporation, especially under British law. Now it's also very important to note where the provisions originated from, especially in dealing with these acts. The provisions for the terms lands, tenements, and hereditaments, which were conveyed under these statutes of Westminster, were done according to the Cestui Que Vie Acts. The original act is this act right here, and this is known as the Cestui Que Vie Act of 1540. This act was made by Henry VIII, and it states, that all and every person or persons having or which hereafter shall have any manors, lands, tenements, or hereditaments holden in socage for the nature of socage tenure, and not having any manors, lands, tenements, or hereditaments holden of the king our sovereign lord by knight's service, by socage tenure in chief, or in the nature of socage tenure in chief, nor of any person or persons by knight's service from the 20th day of July in the year of our shall have full and free liberty, power, and authority to give, dispose, will, and devise, as well by his last will and tenement in writing or otherwise, by any act or acts lawfully executed in his life, all his said manors, lands, tenements, or hereditaments, or any of them, at his free will and pleasure, any law, statute, or otherwise, or other thing heretofore had made or used to the contrary notwithstanding. And that all and every person or persons having manors, lands, tenements, or hereditaments holden of the king our sovereign lord his heirs or successors in socage, or of the nature of socage tenure in chief, and having any manors, lands, tenements, or hereditaments holden of any other person or persons in socage, or of the nature of socage tenure, and not having any manors, lands, tenements, or hereditaments holden of the king our sovereign lord by knight's service, nor of any other lord or person by the like service, from the 20th day in the year 1540, shall have full and free liberty, power, and authority to give, will, and dispose, and devise, as well by his last will or tenement in writing, or otherwise by any act or acts lawfully executed in his life, all his said manors, lands, tenements, and hereditaments, or any of them at his free will and pleasure, any law, statute, and custom, or other thing heretofore had made or used to the contrary notwithstanding. So the origination of the provisions came from 1540 under this act. Also important to note, Cestui Que Vie Act of 1707, and it states, an act for the more effectual discovery of death of persons pretended to be alive, to the prejudice of those who claim estates after their deaths. Now it's important to also note in the UCC codes, Uniform Commercial Code, it states under UCC 1-308, there's a reservation of rights, and it can be stated without prejudice. So you can read the entire act, but the remedy. If it appear afterwards in any action to be brought that such tenant for life was alive at the time the order made, then he or she may re-enter and have action for rent, etc. Provided always that if it shall afterwards appear upon proof in any action to be brought that such infant married woman or other person for whose life any such estate is holden were alive at the time of such order made, then it shall be lawful for such infant married woman, guardian, or trustee, or other person having any estate or interest determinable upon such life to re-enter upon the said lands, tenements, or hereditaments, and for such infant married woman, or other person having any estate or interest determinable upon such life, their executors, administrators, or assigns, to maintain an action against those who since the order received the profits of such lands, tenements, or hereditaments, or their executors or administrators, and therein to recover full damages for the profits of the same received from the time that such infant married woman or other person having any estate or interest determinable upon such life were ousted of the possession of such lands, tenements, or hereditaments. And further, we have Canon 2039. In terms of essential elements concerning Cestui Que Vie trusts, a Cestui Que Vie trust may only exist for 70 years, being the traditional accepted life expectancy of the estate. And a beneficiary under estate may either a beneficiary or a Cestui Que Vie trust. When a beneficiary loses direct benefit of any property of the higher estate placed in the Cestui Que Vie trust on their behalf, they do not own the Cestui Que Vie trust and are only the beneficiary of what the trustees of the Cestui Que Vie trust choose to provide them. And the original purpose and function of the Cestui Que Vie trust was to form a temporary estate for the benefit of another because of some event, state of affairs, or condition prevented them from claiming their status as a living, competent, and present before a competent authority. Therefore, any claims, history, statutes, or arguments that deviate in terms of the origin and function of Cestui Que Vie trust, as pronounced by these canons, is false and automatically null and void. The trust corpus created by a Cestui Que Vie is also known as the estate, from the two Latin words e and statuo, literally meaning by virtue of decree, statute, or judgment. However, as the estate is held in a temporary and not permanent trust, the corporate person, as beneficiary, is entitled only to the equitable title and use of the property rather than the legal title, and therefore ownership of the property. Only the corporation, also known as body corporate, estate and trust corpus of the Cestui Que Vie trust, possesses valid legal personality. And further, Canon 2055. Again, all rights reserved without prejudice, nunc pro tunc, 1540. This is for the purposes of training and education only. This is not construed to be legal advice, nor is it tax advice. Please consult applicable professionals. And it states, Canon 2055, while the private secret trusts of the private central banks cannot be directly addressed, they are still formed on certain presumptions of law, including claimed ownership of the name, the body, the mind, and soul of the infants, men, and women. Each and every man and woman has the absolute right to rebuke and reject such false presumptions as a member of one heaven and holder of their own title. It's important to note how this is worded. Infants, men, and women. Again, a human is not considered a man, and nowhere in the scriptures, in any of the Torah or the Tanakh, is human ever referenced. And out of the book of Isaiah, chapter 10, woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that write grievousness which they have prescribed, to turn aside the needy from judgment, and to take away the right from the poor of my people, that widows may be their prey, and that they may rob the fatherless. And what will ye do in the day of visitation, and the desolation which shall come from far? To whom will ye flee for help, and where will ye leave your glory? Without me they shall bow down under the prisoners, and they shall fall under the slain. For all this his anger is not turned away, but his hand is stretched out still. Isaiah 1:16. Wash you, make you clean, put away the evil of your doings from before mine eyes. Cease to do evil. Learn to do well. Seek judgment. Relieve the oppressed. Judge the fatherless. Plead for the widow. Come now, and let us reason together, saith the Most High. Though your sins be as scarlet, they shall be as white as snow. Though they be red like crimson, they shall be as wool. If ye be willing and obedient, ye shall eat the good of the land. But if ye refuse and rebel, ye shall be devoured with the sword, for the mouth of the Most High hath spoken it. And further, and Joshua the son of Nun sent out of Shittim 2 men to spy secretly, saying, Go view the land, even Jericho. And they went, and came into an harlot's house, named Rahab, and lodged there. And it was told the king of Jericho, saying, Behold, there came men in hither tonight of the children of Israel to search out the country. And the king of Jericho sent unto Rahab, saying, Bring forth the men that are come to thee, which are entered into thine house, for they be come to search out all the country. And the woman took the 2 men and hid them, and said thus, There came men unto me, but I wist not whence they were. And it came to pass about the time of the shutting of the gate, when it was dark, that the men went out. Whither the men went, I wot not. Pursue after them quickly, for ye shall overtake them. But she had brought them up to the roof of the house, and hid them with the stalks of flax, which she laid in order upon the roof. And the men pursued after them the way to Jordan unto the fords. And as soon as they which pursued after them were gone out, they shut the gate. And before them, and before they were laid down, she came up unto them upon the roof, and she said unto the men, I know that the Most High hath given you the land, and that your terror is fallen upon us, and that all the inhabitants of the land faint because of you. For we have heard how the Most High dried up the water of the Red Sea for you, when ye came out of Egypt, and what ye did unto the 2 kings of the Amorites, that were on the other side Jordan, Sihon and Og, whom ye utterly destroyed. And as soon as we had heard these things, our hearts did melt, neither did there remain any more courage in any man because of you. For the Most High, your God, he is the God in heaven above and in earth beneath. Now therefore, I pray you, swear unto me by the Most High, since I have shown you kindness, that ye will also show kindness unto my father's house, and give me a true token, and that ye will save alive my father, and my mother, and my brethren, and my sisters, and all that they have, and deliver our lives from death. And the men answered her, Our life for yours, if ye utter not this our business. And it shall be, when the Most High hath given us the land, that we will deal kindly and truly with thee. Then she let them down by a cord through the window, for her house was upon the town wall, and she dwelt upon the wall. And she said unto them, Get you to the mountain, lest the pursuers meet you, and hide yourselves there 3 days, until the pursuers be returned, and afterward ye may go your way. And the men said unto her, We will be blameless of thine oath, which thou hast made us swear. Behold, when we come into the land, thou shalt bind this line of scarlet thread in the window, which thou didst let us down by, and thou shalt bring thy father, and thy mother, and thy brethren, and all thy father's household home unto thee. And it shall be, that whosoever shall go out of the doors of thy house into the street, his blood shall be upon his head, and we will be guiltless. Whoever shall be with thee in the house, his blood shall be on our head, if any hand be upon him. And if thou utter this our business, then we will be quit of thine oath which thou hast made us to swear. Judgment day is upon us, and it's time to stand and execute judgment. If we are the executors of our own estate, who else has our best interest in mind? And etymology, bishop. Old English, biscayup. Bishop, high priest, Jewish or pagan. From late Latin, episcopus. From Greek, episkopos, watcher. Spiritual overseer, a title for various government officials, later taken over in a church sense. Guardian, protector. These people uttered our business. So such any oaths or affirmations under the same covenant are annulled. It's time to stand up. If we are the executors of our estates, then why are we letting these trustees administer our estates to our detriment? But the Most High is my defense, and my God is the rock of my refuge. And he shall bring upon them their own iniquity, and shall cut them off in their own wickedness. Yea, the Most High our God shall cut them off. Since every man is king in his own house, we have the duty to execute judgment. And if we, as executors, take orders from the trustee and allow them to continue to administer our estates, we fail to do our fiduciary duties to ourselves, to the Most High, and to our houses. All praises to the Most High. Higher, higher. Please consider supporting. Like, comment, and subscribe to Be Fruitful Training Group's YouTube page. Also, follow us on Instagram. Any donations can be sent to BL to Be Fruitful through Cashapp. Thank you, everyone. We'll see you on the next one.